thinking back. Drop the class, to establish that the magic, it's automatic. Got a mask, who was at it? Living legend, lethal weapon, mastermind, never tried, tell him on. If I am in second, it's after no one. Just give me a second to let them know. I'm the headline, the deadline. Big time. I'm ahead time, the rare kind. Big time. I'm a living legend, lethal weapon, mastermind. Big time.
Welcome to Qatar for the T100 Grand Final. For today's winner's glory, the chance for a seasons-long work to be rubber-stamped and verified, but failed to deliver, and it's a long, hard winter searching for the answers. So strap yourselves in, get comfy, because this is going to be epic.
Welcome to the red zone. It's the moment of truth. Do you got what it takes?
I think we could have one of the most epic final ever.
When it's right in front of you. Will you fall or take what's yours?
My goal this year is to turn up, race, and win every single race that I turn up to.
I think I definitely got it in me to beat him. I've proven it before.
I don't see the point of standing on a start line if I don't think I'm going to win the race.
I do back myself on the run.
There's a great feeling of just taking the tape.
On your mark!
Well, let's face it, everyone is trying to beat one man and one man only.
He's arrived with a bang.
A punctured lung, broken ribs, an injured scapula. What an incredible, logic-defying performance.
Yella definitely has the ability to beat Hayden.
Hayden World makes it 5 in a row.
This is epic. We haven't seen this yet.
There we go. That's it. That's the moment.
Wins. It's been an absolutely relentless performance. Finally, Lucy Charles-Barclay, you are our T100 London champion. Smooth race for Lucy Charles-Barclay.
Welcome to the red zone.
So away we go for one final time in 2025. The race to Qatar ends here, and what a treat we have in store today. A three-way battle to become our T100 World Champion. Kate Woff leads the standings, never off the podium this year on the T100. How will she deal with the pressure of today? And then we've got Julie Duron, who blew Kate away in Dubai a month ago. Does she have what it takes here to beat both her and Lucy Charles-Barclay, who's bidding to become a two-time world champion this year? The quality in this field is immense, and Jan, it does not get much better than this.
And just like that, they're underway. It's a world title on the line, and we see a wide line of athletes. Already the first dropping back on the right of your screen, ahead of the Lucille Towers right here, racing for that title.
Yeah, absolutely. This swim is going to be key. Kate Woff, Lucy Charles-Barclay, Jessica Learmonth, those are the athletes to keep your eye on out in front. You can bet that they're going to be setting the pace and trying to build that gap to Julie Duron, who you would think wouldn't be at the front of this swim and will leave a lot of her work, a lot of her talents to be done on the bike and, of course, on that ferocious run that she's also got. And that's Sarah Perez-Sala there in the red cap as well as part of that front pack. So Lucy Charles-Barclay out in front as things stand.
Jessica Learmonth right there. Then we see a lot of white caps, and we are looking for orange to see Julie Duron. So you can see the pace is being put on, and these ladies know they have to set a ferocious pace. That is probably the one chink in Julie's armor, and they're going to put the pressure on.
So 2 1-kilometer laps of this De Boer swim course before they make their way out and onto the bike for 80 kilometers. And it's then an 18-kilometer run to finish things off before we crown our T100 World Champion. Okay, Jan, we have a new course for us on the T100. Take us through it.
All right, let's have a look. We have a 2-lap swim course, 1 kilometer as always, an Aussie exit, 285 meters of transition, a little connecting piece before we have a bike course taking us around Lucille. There are some F1 style tunnels, 6 laps of 13.3 Ks before we have another 6-lap run course to crown the T100 World Champion. We can see the field really getting strung out now. The single line is generally a sign of the pace being on. It's really quite deceiving at times on the side angle. It almost looked like they had a head current, which makes no sense considering they're swimming, you know, within the bay. I don't think there's much currents of an issue, and if anything, they've got a tailwind right here. But Lucy Charles-Barclay is putting down the hammer. Yeah, the 4 athletes between her, Jess, Sarah, and Kate, a tiny gap, a body length of a gap, if that, at the moment. But that's what the Aussie exit is good for. We're going to see the gaps, and very often when you get up and all the blood and lactate with it flows from the arms into the legs, you have to run up, jump back in. That's really where athletes can make a difference, and we're going to see in just a couple of 100 meters what the actual gaps are.
Lucy Charles-Barclay currently out in front. She's got the sight of the pontoon just ahead of her here. She'll make a sharp right-hand turn, make her way out of this De Boer swim course and onto the pontoon. And we'll get our first timing splits of the day.
And this is going to be interesting because that pontoon is built specifically, but it's also very slippery. We saw a few of the athletes slipping yesterday. This is something where you really want to be careful, make sure you get your feet. It's tough to make up positions here.
Yeah, Sarah Perez-Sala just stumbling a little bit as she came out. Lucy Charles-Barclay taking a bit of extra time there, I think, just to make sure she didn't have any problems, any slipping. All the athletes almost looking a bit coming out a bit gingerly, it has to be said.
Absolutely.
And I think just wanting to avoid any injuries, any mistakes at this part of the race. But here we are, first timing splits. Lucy Charles-Barclay out in front, Jessica Learmonth in second, Sarah Perez-Sala in third, Kate Woff not far behind in fourth. Georgia Taylor-Brown there, sticking with that front pack as best she can. Taylor Spivey in sixth, Holly Lawrence in seventh, and India Lee in 8th place. It's an interesting position that Lucy Charles-Barclay finds herself in here, because she's normally so far out in front that we don't normally see her necessarily in and amongst the other athletes. But here she is. I mean, she's now obviously gone back in front and maybe just decided to take the initiative here herself.
That is a huge gap.
Wow. And given that we know this is a really difficult part of this swim course, that gap is probably just going to keep growing as the athletes in front, the stronger swimmers, are able to make their mark here. This is it then. They're going to come out of the De Boer swim course onto the pontoon, and they'll make their way 285 meters to the first transition zone. And we saw the athletes coming out pretty gingerly from the first lap. I wonder what we're going to see here on the second lap. They got used to it there, and yeah, a little bit quicker there from Lucy Charles-Barclay, who's out in front. Jessica Learmonth in second, Kate Woff in third. You can see Sarah Perez-Sala there just struggling to get her footing after being horizontal in the swim for so long. But this is the run up over the pontoon and down through this first bit of blue carpet. Long way to go before they're on the final leg of the blue carpet on the run leg. They're going to make their way past our commentary box in the baking heat, it has to be said, here in Qatar. And Kate Woff there passing Jessica Learmonth, choosing to run this a little bit quicker to seize every possible advantage, because you can bet Lucy Charles-Barclay is going to be setting the pace here on the bike. It's all about who can stay with her, how much of a lead can they have going into the run part of this course. It's not a short run by any stretch, it has to be said, as they make their way into the first transition zone. And Jan Frodeno has made his way down. Jan, over to you.
And here we go. This is Kate Woff. And we've got Kate Woff right in front of us. She sprinted out of the swim. She has done a super smooth transition. taking the bull by the horns. First out of transition, absolutely flying, willing to create a gap. Sarah Perez-Sala is out second, and we have got Holly Lawrence coming out, Lucy Charles-Barkley, Jess Learmonth, and Georgia Taylor-Brown. That is a serious power train on the bike that's going to make it extremely difficult for the next group to catch on. Somehow India Lee's got herself into the position that she's just at the back of this group, and she is going to have to put the power down. Taylor Spivey just off the back. It's going to be a tough one. She chose to put socks on. Interesting choice considering she's just off the back, and is going to have to chase hard. Try and stay away from the next group. They're out on the bikes. A slightly slower transition from Taylor Spivey there. And we can see them as the next athletes come in, and we've got a chase on. My guess is this is about a good minute, as we've got Julie Duron right in front of us. She is eager to get on that bike, fumbling slightly with her suit. It's all got to go in the box, trying to avoid any penalties. Super smooth as fast, as she's going to try and make her way by herself, try and chase these ladies. She's going to look for some help, but Paula Findlay is probably her best bet of getting any firepower. Got Caroline Pauls coming through there, and Imogen Simmons, her comeback as Group 2 comes through. We've got about 10 bikes left at this stage in transition. Interesting, Ashley Gentle being here, and Matt, it's back to you.
So Kate Woff now right at the very front of this bike leg, and an impressive transition time, as I was saying. She really meant business there, already gapping 20 seconds to Lucy Charles-Barkley. If she's going to win this, and don't forget, each athlete, Lucy Charles-Barkley, Julie Duron, and Kate Woff, if they win the race today, they are our T100 world champion.
Big time!
So Lucy Charles-Barkley making her way through the field, and she's made light work, hasn't she, of those who she's just overtaken. And I think, has that put her into second spot?
No, I think it's put her into fourth, because it looks like there's someone ahead. Then there would, my guess is there's still Jess between Kate and the field. But you can see how costly that transition is. And oh my God, look at that bottle, just balancing off the back. She can't see this, but another bump and she's going to lose that bottle of nutrition and have to hope for the referee's grace that this would not be a littering penalty. You can see, even on these very finely kept roads, it's just difficult how basically what happens is that the athletes don't train with a full amount of carbohydrates. And if you pour an extra 300-400 grams of carbohydrates into those bottles, that increases the weight. And with the weight, they just become like little
like little dumbbells or something
that just sit there. And they just bounce out so much easier than they do in training. And yeah, it's actually a little bit surprising that after so many races and so many nutritional mishaps, there are still athletes out there without secured bottles.
Yeah, this is a difficult moment for Julie Duron, I think, in the race, because she needs to clear these guys as soon as possible if she wants to minimise that gap. I mean, at the last count, it's already 1:48 back from Kate Woff out in front. And that is Lucy Charles-Barkley. And Jan, you were right, that bottle right at the very top of that bottle cage has finally bitten the bullet and has come off. And it will remain to be seen if it's water, if it's nutrition, but that's not an ideal situation to be in, is it, for Lucy?
Nah, that would be nutrition for sure. You don't need water at this stage. You can pick up water from the aid stations. She obviously has some integrated hydration in her bike, so she's not completely out of luck. But quite honestly, it just wouldn't be a Lucy kind of thing. Like, I'm actually glad she's lost this now. She's probably got her bad luck out of the way and can get on with it. I think Lucy's definitely somebody who can turn adversity into positive momentum. as Kate Woff is not happy. I think she's waited too late to drop her bottle. Something she's not happy with.
Interesting. We'll see if we can get
it looks like they're going up.
Replay of that.
And then on the right, you see the sign just ahead of that gentleman. That's Lucy throwing it just on the line. What I find interesting here is that the motorbike is on position 3 of this group. So it's right behind Jess. And that means that Kate she can't be there, because where the motorbike is kind of where Kate should be if this group was all intact. It'll be interesting to see if she's coming back or... Oh, yeah, she's leaving a bit of a gap there. I don't know if she's playing it super safe or what's going on there. Again,
Yes.
in this perspective, it doesn't look like much, but that was definitely probably 50 meters, I would say.
It's the longest gap we've seen, I think it's fair to say, between Kate Woff and the front two so far. We'll certainly keep our eye on that as the final stages of this bike leg unfold. And you can see there on the side, just sort of a visual representation of the gaps there between the various groups. So 7 seconds at the moment between Jessica Learmonth and Kate Woff, and 55 seconds back from her to India Lee, Georgia Taylor-Brown. It's another minute back to Paula Finley, who's kind of out there in the middle on her own. Before then, we've got this group, which we've just been focusing on for the last few minutes or so.
So we've got 1,000 meters left to roll in.
This will be fascinating because
as Kate comes around, making another statement, and we know she's the better at transitions.
So for all of Kate Woff's troubles in this bike course, she's now neck and neck with Lucy Charles-Barkley on this final bit of the bike course as they head into the second transition zone, and she makes the pass, no less, over Lucy Charles-Barkley, who's been leading this bike leg pretty much for the entire time. And that is a sign, if ever there was one, that Kate Woff is here and she's here to stay. And I just wonder if that maybe has taken Lucy Charles-Barkley a bit by surprise. Like you said, Jan, she will have seen that Kate Woff is behind her for pretty much the whole race. This is a bike course that has out and back sections. That means that athletes get to see exactly where the others are in and around them. And right now, Kate Woff is going to go into that second transition zone, start the run. Well, go into the transition zone. We'll see if she starts the run in first place, but we know how good she is at transitions. The short course background coming to the fore. And here she goes, just onto the coast here, underneath the palm trees, past our commentary position. We're going to see her very, very shortly indeed make her way onto the blue carpet of the transition zone. And Jan, it's going to be really interesting to see what she looks like coming off the bike.
Off and first, no one making any mistakes. Oh, Lucy very timid off the bike there. She would have definitely lost a few seconds to Kate Woff. She actually came to a full stop, whereas Kate Woff jumped off her bike. See these athletes ripping off their helmets, putting on their shoes. Easy does it. And some ice water. Kate is off. And now start the time.
And that's fascinating, isn't it? Kate Woff
5 seconds.
Well in front, and we were talking about the gaps. 10 seconds at one point out on the bike course, and right now she's building a huge lead over Lucy Charles-Barkley. Wow, that's how you do transitions. If any of you are watching at home, age groupers, amateur athletes, my goodness me, what a transition that was for Kate Woff. And she's put herself in the absolute driving seat here to take the fight and take the T100 world title.
And my guess is she's going to need those 15 seconds. Julie with a vengeance. And I don't think Lucy's going to leave it all up to her either.
17 seconds the difference between Kate Woff and Lucy Charles-Barkley in transition.
India Lee, what a performance from her. Great ride today. Socks on.
Yeah, fantastic performance this so far from India Lee. I say plenty to fight for these athletes in well, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. This could be the difference between tens of thousands of dollars. So huge amount on the line for these guys as they come, I should say, onto the blue carpet of the transition zone. That's Julie Duron, neck and neck there with Lucy Byron. So this is where Julie Duron needs a smooth transition if she's going to catch up to Kate Woff and Lucy Charles-Barclay at the front. This is really, really critical that she's able to make this as smooth as possible, and that's quick. Ice down the tri-suit, straight out onto the run course.
Yeah,
we'll get the timing difference back, and that's 1 minute 44.
Oh.
What did we say, about 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's 20 seconds she's made up just from the last lap to the start of the run. At the moment, everyone's looking pretty smooth. We'll have to wait another kilometer or two until we get a better gauge.
So the women's race getting underway and fantastic, but for the time being, we're going to go over to the Debord swim start for the beginning of the men. So this is it, away we go here in Qatar, the final race of the 2025 season. 100 kilometers stands between Hayden Wilde and taking the top prize here, becoming the T100 World Champion. He's been close to faultless all year, returning from a bike crash that could have finished his career, let alone his season, but pressure does funny things to people, and this is the ultimate pressure. You can bet those behind him. Jelle Heens, Mika Noot are going to want to spoil the party. Jan, where is this race going to be won and where is it going to be lost?
100%. I don't think this is going to be a 100k victory lap. You know, Mika Noot's made some strong statements on where his form is and how hungry he is. You can definitely tell. But man, Hayden is just a calm, cool cat. He's collected. He knows what he wants. He's actually, by his terms, had a very consistent block here in the UAE, preparing for this race, staying locally put, and it's going to be tough for the competition. You can see someone at the bottom of our screen is taking it out aggressively, because that is maybe the one place where Hayden has shown some vulnerability, especially when he's raced shorter distances over the season. And yeah, we'll see if Dubai has been a wake-up call, or we can continue to celebrate the biggest comeback in history, or whether this will indeed be followed up by one of the biggest chokes.
Big time!
If you just joined us, this is a very, very good time to switch on. The tactics now that Kate's got to employ at the front of this race, obviously she's still got the might of Lucy Charles-Barclay behind her, 35 seconds at the last count, but Julie Duron, a minute 40. Is it a case of race your race, try not to put in efforts that you don't need to put in? Because if she storms out now, and if she does try to build a lead over someone like Julie and Lucy, I just wonder if that's going to prevent her from having stuff left in the tank at the back end of the race when we do have a charging Julie Duron.
It's so individual, and it's so hard to tell, but I think the fact that she is pulling away from Lucy would be extremely motivating her right now. I hope it doesn't, you know, push her over the edge, but the way I used to pace these things was to leave just enough in the tank that if it came down to a sprint, I'd still have that much energy left. And that always just allows you to go, you know, just tethering on the red, but you don't want to go over, because especially with these kind of hot, warm conditions, it's hard to come back from.
Just going to turn our attention to the first timing check that we're going to get from the men's race here in Qatar. As that looks like Morgan Pearson, I think, out in front. No, beg your pardon, that might not be Morgan Pearson. Let's just get the timing chip, shall we? Because that will give us a definitive answer.
Orange cap is Hayden Wilde. Then we've got red Martin van Riel, I saw in there somewhere. Difficult against the light to see.
Yeah, that's Morgan Pearson in second by the looks of it.
And again, that
Vincent Louis there out in front.
Yes.
Fantastic swim so far from him.
Mika Nuut on his feet. That was Rico Bogan.
Oh, and again, yeah.
Just catching themselves. Oh, I think that was Hayden on the right.
So this is a really tricky part of the course that, Jan, you were talking about earlier in the swim familiarization. A few athletes struggling, slipping to get out, and they might do well to do it at a slightly slower pace on the way out. To, you know, what a terrible shame it would be for any injuries or any issues to be off the back of that. So much better to lose a few seconds than get yourself out the race. But let's go through that. Sorry, Jan, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think you heard anything except your pride if you face plant on one of those things. But you can see how the technical officials, they've sort of stuck grip tape across the pontoon to try and make it as grippy as possible, because carpet doesn't really work. It's plastic and water, that's going to be slippery. But the story for me is Hayden Wild not even losing 20 seconds, and that is, for now, well within his comfort zone.
Okay, so back to the front of the women's race. And we'll get our latest timing splits, I'm sure, soon. Last count I had a minute that Kate Woff is in front of Lucy Charles-Barclay. And that gap to Julie Duron is sticking around 1 minute 40. It's stubbornly not coming down. And with 11.5 kilometers left of this race, Kate Woff is in the best position she could possibly be. She couldn't have dreamed of a better position, I would say, when she had her breakfast this morning. This is the exact place she wants to be in order to put herself in the best position to become a T100 world champion. Just in the back of shot there, you can see the running of Julie Duron and Georgia Taylor-Brown, who is stuck with Julie Duron here, it's fair to say. It looked like she might be leaving her for dust, but that has not happened. Georgia Taylor-Brown, a fantastic runner, a winner last weekend in Bahrain. She also won another race in Phuket as well, and whilst not the strength of field that we're used to in the T100, and that's the pass. That is the pass there from Julie Duron and Georgia Taylor-Brown, who both get out in front of Lucy Charles-Barclay, who is slowing down here. That was a masterclass in overtaking, you have to say, but equally, wow. Lucy much, much slower than Julie Duron and Georgia Taylor-Brown. And this is where we're going to see what fight Lucy Charles-Barclay has in her locker. So, out come our male athletes from this De Boer swim course, learning the lessons perhaps of the exit from the first lap, gingerly getting their way out onto the blue carpet. They're going to make their way 285 meters down onto there, and they're going to get their first look now at the order, as I think that's Morgan Pearson, is it, just out in front? Looks like Vincent Louis, who led them out the water. Samuel Dickinson with that unmistakably red tri-suit in third spot. And this is a long area, and we're going to go down to Jan, who's down in transition.
Alrighty, we're here waiting for the first man to arrive. It is really a question of how much of a gap can they create to Hayden Wild, and who can get through this transition without fumbling. We see the ladies passing through. Georgia Taylor-Brown is looking around to see where Vincent is. As we see Morgan Pearson coming through again, once again, same as in Dubai, he creates the gap on the way out. Samuel Dickinson, Vincent Louis, everybody's here. Let's see who's got the quickest transition. We have got Jelle Geens. He has just arrived at his bike. Smooth transition. Be quick. Morgan Pearson is out. We have got Samuel Dickinson out. And Jelle is right here. Quick look out there. Go get him, buddy. Strong group. We've got Jonas Schomburg. And we have got Menno Koolhaas. So there is some firepower. As we see Rico Bogan having a terrible swim by his standards. Oh, Mika Nuut also tough. And this is some serious bike power. Hayden Wild coming through, looking smooth. Putting on his helmet, and he has got a look of determination on his face. He's put some ice down his chest. Boom! In last, out first. This man is not messing around. He is looking for a world title. And I have a feeling he's going to make this his day. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Jan. Amazing to get that close to our athletes going through the transition zone. And fantastic to see. I think this men's race is really well poised, as much as the attention has rightly been on the women's race so far, with that three-way battle that we've had coming in here for to be the world champion. Make no mistake, this men's race is going to be just as exciting. And the question is, what can Hayden Wild do? What can Jelle Geens do, who's comfortably ahead of Hayden at the moment? He knows his way to beat Hayden, well, he's got to surely be ahead, hasn't he? Or there or thereabouts into the second transition zone as they make their way onto the run course. We're rightly keeping our attention here on the women's race for the bulk of it until this is over, because there's an awful long way to, not that long to go here, but an awful lot to fight for, and the T100 world title on the line. A little shake of the head there from Julie Duron. I don't know quite what that was about.
I think she knows, because this is exactly what Georgia Taylor-Brown, she's been looking so much better all this time along, and I was actually wondering,
and there we go, that's
if
the pass,
she's saving herself to make a decisive move, as to not to interfere in this championship either. Because if, you know, she was to slowly drag her up towards Kate, yeah, it's definitely something that's on athletes' minds. You know, triathletes are a very fair species, and we hear the bell lap. Let's call this the wild bell.
That will be the best noise that Kate Woff has heard all day. I can absolutely guarantee you of that. So, one final lap here in Qatar between Kate Woff and her first T100 world title. Wow, she looks amazing.
She has put absolute daylight. Wow, look at that. Like, Julie has not entered the screen yet. 2.5 Ks. Just at the very top of the screen, you can see her there, the slight downhill. Yeah, that's super impressive running. And it looks a lot more like the Georgia Taylor-Brown we've known and we kind of thought would come on stage, even though she said she's taking a year to figure out what she wants. I think this may be pointing a compass a lot more towards the T100 series for next year.
Okay, so Kate Woff here. One final look, I think, over her shoulder to check exactly where Georgia Taylor-Brown is. But she doesn't need to worry about her, because Kate Woff has absolutely obliterated the field today. She's been super consistent all year, perhaps our most consistent athlete on the T100. It's been a record-breaking year for her, having won in Singapore with the biggest gap we've ever had in a T100 race.
Starting with the highest of highs, and it was a surprise. We didn't know what to expect, and here she is finishing with the highest of highs. Enjoy it as you touch the blue carpet. This is your moment, your first ever World Championship. Kate Woff, what a season, what a race, and what a way to get your first ever title. Oh my God, she's struggling to hold it all in. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Goodness me. Kate coming over the finish line.
Oh my goodness.
Any second now. She is our T100 world champion. Kate Woff, take a bow. And we're just starting to see exactly the effort that she has put in today onto the course, and goodness me, that right there is there for all to see, because it just goes to show, Jan, the effort, the amazing endeavour that these athletes go on to do as Georgia Taylor-Brown crosses the finish line in second.
And you can see Kate Woff, she has given her everything. She is on the floor, she is destroyed. That finish line could not have come any sooner. If this would have been another kilometer, I think things could have looked very, very differently. She kept it together. I think she had some stomach issues. As we see Julie Duran coming in, finishing off strong.
So third place there for Julie Duran. She will take her spot onto the T100 podium. Not to be for the World Championship today, but she gave it her best. She was a massive factor in this race.
Kate Woff, you are a world champion. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that was the most dramatic way, I think, to win a world title. I've always been a bit of a drama queen, so best way to win it, I guess. But I'm completely overwhelmed with emotion right now. Yeah, going on to the last lap, I kind of felt the floor starting to kind of tilt a bit, and I was like, oh, I'm in trouble now. I was like, just hold it together, and then Georgia was putting me under pressure, and luckily just about got across the line.
Official standings here of the overall series. Kate Woff winning World Championship, 183 points. Julie Duran, Lucy Charles-Barclay, Ashley Gentle holding on to 4th, Jess Learmonth in 5th, Ellie Salthouse 6th, Georgia Taylor-Brown moving herself into 7th with a phenomenal performance here. Taylor Knibb still holding on to 8th, Lucy Byron within the top 10, and Holly Lawrence rounding out 10th place.
Big time!
And I'm being told this just happened a couple of seconds ago while we were on the interviews. Keep your eye up ahead. Oh, and that is a nasty crash there for Rico. Wow. Oh my goodness. Be interested to get the thoughts of Jan of exactly what happened there. He's being passed by those out in front. Looks like Mickey Newt, Hayden Wild, Mathis Margerier going out in front. But that a nasty accident there for Rico Bogan. He's able to get back on the bike. And I'm sure we'll get another look at that later on. But he's back on the bike, which we love to see. And we've got plenty of races for you at home to join if you've been inspired by watching the pros across 2025 T100 season. You can scan that QR code, which will take you onto the T100 website, where you can find your race for next year. We've got amazing locations around the world. We're going to be starting on the Gold Coast in Australia before heading to Singapore, Spain, San Francisco, London, Vancouver, France, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and of course finishing a year from now, it's hard to believe, right here in Qatar.
As our top men are coming in for the second transition. Saw Nico out the swim. He had a tough day to start with, but yeah, it seems that these conditions are still pretty brutal out there.
They certainly are. It actually looks pretty lovely, has to be said, as the sun is getting a little bit lower in the sky. The water, barely a breath of wind in the air. But I would imagine these athletes are going to start to feel that.
Little bunny hop from Hayden Wild as he takes it in. Man, when you're playing, when you're having fun, it's hard to avoid success. I know I've said it before, but it is just so true. This guy coming on, bringing the fun. Even the little aero tuck, the last couple of meters before the red dismount line.
Smooth
it's
as you
all
like.
attention, yeah, all attention to detail as he pushes his bike back to the very first slot of this transition 2. Smooth, straight in, helmet off, socks on. Funny enough, I don't think they've got that ice bucket anymore. The women had ice buckets to take on a little bit of cooling. Oh no, that's on the other side. Hayden, shoes on. He's got some sort of tag stuck on his head. It was obviously a new helmet. A price tag must have still been on there.
So there we go, Hayden Wild seamlessly out of transition as he's been all season. What an athlete he is, and the race is on really to catch him. Martin van Riel there, making his way out of transition. He's getting a cap on, bit of ice in there to try and keep as cool as possible. The fantastic support from some of our age group athletes who are all racing tomorrow here in Qatar. This, of course, the final of the T100 Age Group World Championship as well. So lots on the line for the pros, an awful lot on the line as well for amateurs as they take to this amazing course that we have in Qatar. So there we go, Martin van Riel just behind Mathis Margirier and Hayden Wild out in front.
So Rico also pretty smooth through transition, but yeah, again, those 2-3 seconds turn into 5. And that's just the thing, he sweats the details. If you look back at the women's race, you know, Lucy, I don't think it was the deciding factor, but it's just very, very hard if you give up those seconds, and he's meticulous about anything and everything he does.
So this is Jelle Heens coming in to the final stretch of this bike course. We'll get our timings here to know exactly the task he has at hand. It's a mighty task. We'll see exactly what Jelle's got left in the tank. I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed to be over 2 minutes back to Hayden Wild, but there's still very much in his power if he can get a good transition here, nice and smooth. He's got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, you think at this stage he's fighting for podium, but you know there are still some decent runners up ahead of him. 2.5 minutes almost, 2:20. So it looks like Sam and Jonas have actually caught up to Jelle just before the transition. He's out quick and fairly smooth.
Yeah,
but he's going to need his best ever running legs. Otherwise, this is turning into a victory lap for Hayden.
There we go, Morgan Pearson, who we know does have an incredible run on him.
Dropped something.
He's dropped something, yeah. Hopefully nothing too important. Maybe a gel, bit of nutrition there.
Well, hopefully nothing in a referee notices, because if they do, then technically he's left something out of his transition gear. I don't know if that's a littering penalty or what it would be.
Interesting, yeah. No, very good spot, yeah.
Jelle moving well. This is a slight uphill.
So it's a really good spot, Jan.
Oh,
he goes back.
Lost? Oh, that's not what you want.
Running the wrong way down the course. There we go. Gets handed it by the official. So no penalty there for Morgan Pearson. Very smart racing. Better to spend a couple of seconds going back than being slammed with a minute penalty. And here we go, a familiar sight on the T100 in 2025. Hayden Wild out in front. No bucket hat, interestingly, today, Jan.
Yep, I think the fans might be disappointed.
Yeah,
this is
I'm
favorite piece of merch.
I don't think it matters what he puts on his head. He's still just as quick. And there we go. That is Morgan Pearson already catching up to Jelle Heens. And it, I mean, this is a familiar stroke, wasn't it? Or familiar run style that we saw from Dubai. Jelle, one of our finest runners on the T100. That is absolutely one of his weapons that he possesses. And this might just be our very own run battle that we're going to see right now, because Morgan is absolutely rapid, getting up right behind Jelle Heens.
And Mika making sure he doesn't step on Martin's heels. I think he probably can sense that if right now he were to kick his shoes and they would come off, he'd be a very angry man as they make their way up to Rico Bogan, or at least they're trying to. And Rico has actually been working on his run quite a bit, and you know, he expressed his disappointment, so is his coach, at not really being able to show the running form that he has. That certainly would be a help, these three guys taking turns. Great to see Mathis back on that sort of form where he's actually able to do a solid enough race that he's fighting within podium contentions. Oh no. It's just that kind of thing. Momentum swings both ways, and yeah, they're little things, they're little hiccups that can happen to anybody, but looks like he just missed his special nutrition there. Let's see if we get our eyes on that. Yep. Okay, so you can see that's numbered, and he is trying to get his very specific drink.
So Hayden Wilde has looked pretty unbothered and unfussed all day, as frankly he has done all season on the T100. This will be the start of his final lap here. And just like Kate wafted, he's going to hear the bell any second now.
Be interested to hear what he says at the finish line.
Well, we know
there we go.
There we
Van
go.
Riel.
So Martin Van Riel overtaking Mick Anout. That will push him into third spot. I'm afraid to say that pushes Mick Anout further down in the race to Qatar standing. So that $20,000 I was talking about earlier, well, put that on the back of Martin Van Riel's cap and chase him down, because it's gone in a flash. So there we go, the whale shark just suspended above that, but not that Hayden is going to be looking up too much. He's been cool, calm and collected all year on the T100. The man has come back from the brink, it's fair to say. That injury, being knocked off his bike in Japan, he's a superhero, a superhuman effort from this Kiwi athlete. Hayden Wilde, our T100 world champion.
Love your work, Hayden. That is awesome. You have done it. You have broken the spirits. You are no longer second. This is your first ever world title. Awesome, awesome, awesome work.
But this is Morgan Pearson, and what a run of form he's currently on. Well, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. He really does have the run power to challenge Hayden. Just going to show how much he's managed to catch up to him here. But he's on the blue carpet. Morgan Pearson, second place here in Qatar. Well done, Morgan.
What a season for him as well. He's built into his form. You speak about his bike, but his bike has improved. As we see Martin Van Riel come in, at least a somewhat amicable finish to the season. He's had tough ups and downs, but a podium is always nice, and it's great to see the man smiling, honestly. He deserves it. Somebody throws some green stuff in his face, just as a symbol to his season. Coming in, rounding out the podium, and I hope that just gives him some kind of positive energy to finish it all off on. Reset. Mick Anout, super happy with his finish. Fourth place.
Hayden Wilde, T100 world champion. How does that feel?
Yeah, no, it's pretty special from starting in Singapore and then being in hospital for a bit and then coming back and yeah, winning a few races and then finishing here in Qatar. It's been a long season, but it's yeah, it's nice to finish up.
I mean, when you reflect on the season you've had with that injury or crash that you sustained in Japan, can you process what you've achieved this year?
No, it's pretty hard to, hey, like, yeah, you kind of forget sometimes of the process you went through when when you come back and have some good success, and you just got to kind of think about that. And you know, I just came into this race with just an open eyes, and I was like, hey, I've made it back to racing, fit and healthy, and I think that's more of a title I'll take to the grave than yeah, also obviously the T100 series. But yeah, really happy of just how everything's gone this year.
Confirmation there that Hayden Wilde finishes on 195 points. Like I said, a perfect season for him. Mick Anout in second, Jelle Heens in third, Morgan Pearson fourth, Rico Bogan fifth, Martin Van Riel sixth, seventh for Mathis Margirier, eighth for Sam Dickinson. Yuri Kulin squeezes into the top 10, and so does Gregory Barnaby. Looking ahead then to next year as well, I mean, what are you most excited about seeing on the T100 in 2026?
I mean, there's so much there, right? We've got
Kate Woff coming on as our champion. What does that do to her? What does it do to her focus? Is she able to repeat? We saw how difficult that is with this year's champions being nowhere near the front of the race in most cases. So Hayden Wilde, again, the puzzle everyone is currently trying to figure out is how on earth to even get within the same ballpark. I have a feeling it's going to happen. I have a feeling the off-season is just, you know, enough time for athletes to figure some kind of change and plan. And that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. We are so excited. All our attention now is turning on saying goodbye to you in 2025. It's been an incredible season on the T100. It's been a real pleasure to have your company, Jan, but it's also been a real pleasure to have the company of everybody at home as well. Should we do it all again in 2026?
Yes, we shall. And personally, I'm excited about your race in Canada for 2026. You have also gotten into the sport, so...
On that note, goodbye. Thank you, Jan.
He's arrived with a bang.
What an incredible, logic-defying performance.
Yella definitely has the ability to beat Hayden.
Hayden World makes it 5 in a row.
This is epic. We haven't seen this yet.
There we go. That's it. That's the moment.
Win! It's been an absolutely relentless performance. Finally, Lucy Charles-Barclay, you are our T100 London champion. Smooth race for Lucy Charles-Barclay. The race to Qatar ends here. Kate Woff is our T100 world champion. He's a superhero, a superhuman effort from Hayden Wilde.